So thanks for joining us on this call, and especially to you, Ashwin. Thanks for making time to join me on this recording. So this will be the AI Roundtable that I'll be doing with you, where we'll dive into topics that is in constant conversations at this current moment. And Ashwin is from the head of engineering from Vertical, and we'll be talking about some topics of interest. We'll start off with the very first one, which is about bringing AI into enterprises. So, Ashwin, what's your take on bringing AI into enterprises?
Hi, Cheryl. Thanks for having me in this call. Yeah, that's a very broad question that all of us are scrambling with today. So bringing AI into enterprise has multiple facets, but if you ask me, so the question should be asked as so how AI can help the enterprise, right? So that's the starting point. One of the proven ways or the ways we see enterprises successfully adapting AI is looking at the problems they are solving, looking at their business processes, and then identifying AI tools, so whether it could be LLM tools or it could be AI capabilities of the tool they are using, and how it can help to solve a problem. I think we have come out of the era where companies were running POCs. I think that was like 1 to 2 years back. But right now, AI is adopting, enterprises are adopting AI specifically to solve problems. So they have gone beyond the POC stage and productionizing with AI solving real problems, whether it could be business problem or engineering problem. That's how I see it's evolving.
How would you think with specificities towards like individual business lines, such as like operation sides or like business side or like software engineering side? How do you identify all the current problems or like pain points that of areas for optimization, right? And then how do you define the success metrics in terms of implementation and deployment?
Yeah. So yes, so I can take two examples. So one of the things that we are working on in our organization is building an enterprise AI platform, specifically targeting some of the areas. So for example, if we take software engineering, one of the problems or one of the areas we are looking to tackle is look at our SDLC, that is a development life cycle from end to end, and then we identify area of opportunities. So for example, we do a value chain or a value map analysis where we look at different things that the teams are doing today, whether it is understanding requirements, writing user stories, developing code. So we look at every part of the engineering life cycle, and then we look at opportunities through AI tools, whether it is AI coding tools or LLMs which can generate content for you. So we look at different tools, how they can come together and bring in efficiency at different stages. So we take the whole life cycle, break it down into parts, break it down into pieces, identify areas of opportunities, areas of improvement, and how AI can solve this problem. So now when I say enterprise AI platform, what do we do is, so we bring all these tools together in a single platform, offered to the teams who can use it without any inhibitions, right? So you don't have to go and use an LLM outside of your platform. So the platform will be able to let you in, identify what you're looking for, gives you a blueprint as to how to solve the problem, and then be able to take in customizations also. This is what we do with engineering. When you talk about operations, so the scope is even larger, right? Because we do a lot of operations in the marketing space for a lot of our clients. So there, how we use AI is today, as you might know, all the tools that are in the market have some kind of AI capabilities. So whether it is marketing tools like Braze or SFMC, the Salesforce tools. So the way we look at it is, so for the clients where we are working, we understand the AI capabilities provided by the tools, and then look at our operations. So where these tools could either reduce the effort that we are putting in, or in some cases completely eliminate the additional effort that the team has to put in. So again, the process is similar. We look at how things work, look at area of opportunity, but rather than like building custom solutions, so we leverage the platform solutions that we have to make it more efficient for the clients. So that's the trend that we are seeing in the market today.
One curious question that I have, right, is how enterprise are adapting and adopting to AI. What's your take on companies trying to accelerate AI adaptation or adoption into their enterprises at this current stage?
Yeah, so I think the market is still evolving because since we work with a lot of clients and a lot of industries, we see the adoption is at different stages in different industries. So, for example, in creative industries, so where we work a lot, the adoption is quite advanced, I would say, because they use a lot of tools that creates content for them. It could be textual content, it could be videos, images, where a lot of the tools and a lot of the advancements that are happening in the AI space. So these companies leverage, and the adoption is quite widespread. But there are regulated industries, for example, financial institutions, where we see the adoption is mostly in a smaller scale. So whether it could be improving the efficiency of some teams within the organization, but we see a reluctance or time that is taken before they are productionizing. So which is understandable, because one area that I think it's not very mature across industries is the governance. You have the tools in place, you have use cases where the tools can help, but a good governance process as to how do you ensure that the content that the AI generates is well within the regulations, so well within the there is no bias, for example. It is ethical for the audience that you're creating. I think this is the area, and then even in terms of roles, so you would see that there are a lot of governance roles coming into play these days. I think that's the area where I see the adoption maturity is quite at early stages. So that's the reason. So adoption is quite widespread in creative industry, e-commerce industry, but in regulated industry, I would say still people are experimenting with a lot of things. This is my take.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Well, that was a very great insight from you. And I have to agree, especially on the governance part, where a lot of regulatory bodies, especially MAS, has been coming in with all those guardrails with Mindforge, right? Yeah. So on to my next questions. What are some of the blueprints that you typically embark on, right, when you are preparing all those solutions for your clients in terms of bringing AI into their enterprises? Like, take for example, the marketing companies that clients that you typically work with.
Yeah. So we take a standardized approach or a structured approach. So when we work with clients on AI, so the first step that we start with is we call it as a AI readiness assessment. That's what we call it. So we have a framework, which is a set of tools and set of activities that we do with the client, mainly to understand their readiness from multiple aspects. So it could be around the data that they have. It could be about the skill the organization has in terms of people, the tools and resources that the organization has access to. So the first step is, so we work with our clients to understand how ready are they to embrace AI, and then what could be the potential benefits or impacts, positive impacts that they could have by adopting AI. So for that, we do have a set of blueprints and frameworks that we work with the organizations. And once we have that, the next one, we call it as an AI adoption framework or blueprint. So this is where, based on the inputs that we gather from the assessment, so we come up with a tailored or a customized approach. So for example, there are some clients who have a lot of off-the-shelf tools. So they may have like Salesforce tools or Adobe tools. And then there are other clients where they have a lot of custom builds, legacy systems. So depending on what we find as part of the assessment, we build a tailored approach for the clients. And then, but the focus is around the impact. The focus is around the outcome. So we have again a set of structured blueprints in place So where we come up with recommendations, or we come up with an action plan, which is more a collaborative plan. So AI is not always one way, right? It's not like you
Yeah.
go and implement a tool and come out. So we also help in enabling their organization, upskilling them, and then giving some kind of pre-made tool. So one of the things that we always start, and even internally in our organization, is before we bring in complex AI solutions, so we start simple. For example, we have put together a prompt template library, for example, because you might know that everybody uses LLM these days, right? Whether it's ChatGPT or Cloud or any tool that is in the market. But having good prompts or having good structured prompts so improves the outcome by a greater extent. So one of the ways that we always start, and we also work with clients, is coming up with good prompt templates for different use cases, for example, and then going ahead with more advanced solutions like RAG-based solutions, where the knowledge repository that the client has works with the LLM tools to give them a better output. So we do have some frameworks and some blueprints where we work with the client, and it's primarily driven firstly by what the client wants, what are the business problem they want to solve. Secondly, what is their technology landscape, and the thirdly is so how soon or how early with the necessary investment they are able to see output. Because the longer you take and more expensive the solution take, we find the appetite for using the AI solution goes down. So we
Yeah.
look for early wins, quick wins, show the outcomes, and then proceed further. And then the last part, as part of the process, is about building the AI capability within the clients. So again, what level they want to build capability depends on the client needs. Some organization we see they set up AI COE, Center of Excellence, where we also help the client to let's say hire roles, build new roles in the organization. Or it could be like we act as AI consultants and AI architects for them, where we help them with newer solutions. So this is our blueprint or a structured approach. Start with the assessment, then build an adoption plan, and then iterate, and then see the benefits, and then see how we want to set up in the long term, either through a COE model or through a consulting model to our clients.
So, would you be able to share one of the biggest achievement that you have accomplished so far with like AI integration into enterprises ever since you've started on it in the past 2 to 3 years?
Yeah. So we do have quite a few I would say micro successes where we have identified specific problems and then solve it. I would say one of the major ones could be around where we have been successfully able to create content that is personalized to the audience of an organization. So this one is where it's for an organization which creates a lot of content, which is used in social media, which is used in their websites and so on. And then the content is created from multiple channels. So they do have some creative tools. So they do have some repositories where they have the content. So we rolled out an integrated AI solution for them, part of the Adobe product suite, where they were able to generate personalized content on demand for various type of consumers, various markets on the fly, and then it also helped to define a governance framework around it. So I think this is one complex engagement. This is primarily because of the volume of data and the business that the client was doing. Yeah.
Sounds like a very stressful one with the volume of data, both
Yeah.
text and images as well, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what was one of the biggest challenge that you face, right, when it comes to integrating such solutions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the major challenge is always around data. So that is what I have seen not only in the recent engagements, but even in the past. I think the data is always it's a make or break. I would say in your AI efforts. When I say data, what I'm specifically referring to is firstly is the quality of data that you're gathering. and then how easy or how well the data is made available to the AI system. Because as you know, the quality of AI system outcomes is based on the data that the system gets. So this has been always a challenge. So that is why not only having AI or a machine learning team is important, but having a good data engineering team and data engineering practices is really important, because that's where, in my view, a lot of organizations fall short because they spend too much effort and focus on building AI solution, while they don't fix some of the foundational aspects of data engineering or the quality of data that is coming into the organization. I see that as one of the biggest challenges in the integration of AI.
Thanks for sharing. Okay, so we'll move into the next topic, which is more towards your observation of the generic performance of AI in Singapore. Like, how's your take on Singapore as a AI innovation hub?
Yeah. So, Singapore government, in my view, is taking a lot of steps towards AI and innovation, and to attract the talent. So, for example, Singapore is one of the nations, I think still not many nations to do that. They have developed a model AI governance framework. So I think it was published like 3 or 4 years back. So this defines the things that we talked about earlier, right? How can you build AI solutions ethically and within the governance? So Singapore has been one of the pioneers. And then Singapore also has come up with a Smart Nation initiative where last I read, they have about 500 million and above of investment into AI technologies and AI infrastructure. And even they collaborate with industry players like AWS, for example, who support Singapore in their AI solutions, are also setting up a regional hub. So, and SG government is also has provisions or schemes where they continuously train the citizens, right? So through certain programs, through certain fundings. I know there is a program for Gen AI for digital leaders, for example. So I think in summary, Singapore is taking a comprehensive approach. Firstly, they are defining a strong framework around AI, and then they are enabling their citizens, the citizens of Singapore, to adapt AI, and also the businesses to embrace AI, not to fear AI, but embrace AI. And then they are working with companies like Microsoft and AWS to continue investing in the region to make them more an attractive AI employer of future. So I'm happy to be in Singapore and part of this evolution, I should say.
Thanks for sharing. And on to my next question, right? It's about how would an AI or like a data science, data professional, right, navigate the career acceleration towards perhaps someone of your stature, like running the head of engineering or vertical?
Yeah. So I would for a AI career transition or journey, right? I would probably divide that into 3 buckets. Okay, so let's take it as a entry level, and then mid level, and senior level. So I think depending on where you are in your career, I think the approach can be slightly different. So for example, for someone in the entry level or early stages of their career, my suggestion or recommendation would be to build strong foundations around data analytics, for example, AI and machine learning, and then try to gain practical experience. So whether it could be by doing personal projects or by building solutions within their organization around AI. So getting that hands-on experience firsthand would be my advice to build a AI career for entry-level professionals. So for example, for mid-level professionals, so the focus can be slightly different. Even though they still need the fundamentals, their strength primarily comes from their cross-functional skills or the domain skills that they might already have. So for people in that stage of their career, my recommendation would be to see how AI can be adopted in their industry, how AI can solve some of the problem, or how AI can make some of the solutions more efficient. So they need to build their skills around AI, but at the same time, they need to see how AI can help the domain, the industry, to either reduce cost or improve efficiency or whatever benefit it can gain. For leaders, so senior leaders who are at the top of the organization, so the approach should be more strategic, in my opinion. So basically, they need to think about how they can enable the organization to adapt AI. So it could be around upskilling people, it could be around showing the benefit of AI at the same time without threatening jobs, threatening people in the organization, and then putting the right governance and the guardrails in place. It's not only like using the tools, but it also like using the right tools and then using them in the right context. The other skill, in my view, the senior leaders should embrace is how well they are able to articulate the benefits of AI to non-technical people. I think AI has also become a buzzword. At the same time, I see AI also become like a threat to a lot of people in the organization. So the senior leaders should be able to understand how AI can help and be able to articulate, not in technical terms, but more in human-like language and terms, so that people travel along with them and not against them. So this way, I think the career acceleration journey and the things that we do differ by the stages that you're in your career. But for everyone, I think having a growth mindset or a learning mindset and focusing on solving problems with AI, not adopting AI for the sake of adapting, is important for all levels in the organization. So this will be my take on how someone can navigate their career in the age of AI.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. This puts me into another curious question that I have, which is like, how's your take on a lot of commentaries right now regarding how AI is taking over job opportunity, which is quite a massive criticism of AI at this current day and age.
Yeah, so I would call it more as AI is reshaping the industry rather than like taking jobs, because now this is my personal opinion that there are new roles being created due to AI, and then there is an opportunity for people to adapt to the new roles or even reshape their existing roles. That's how I see it. Because if you go back in the history, right? So when computing became more mainstream, when, for example, when I started my career, so there was always a criticism that, okay, so we're going to take a lot of other jobs. But 20 years, 25 years later, what we see is computing has made a lot of jobs simpler, faster. Definitely, there were some impacts. So, for example, people who couldn't adapt or who couldn't change, there was an impact to them. But for a majority of population, I would say it has done more good than bad. I think AI would take a similar course, in my opinion, where people need to embrace AI, learn how it can help their job, and be open to start using it as part of their day job. There will always be some casualties, like you said, right? So there will always be some jobs or some set of people who refuse to adapt will have to face consequences. But I would say net that will be more beneficial than detrimental to the industry. So that is my take on AI.
Thanks for sharing. And from your perspective, right, as of 2025 and onwards, what's the most in demand talent profiles at this current day and age?
Yeah. So again, as I mentioned earlier, right? So there are certain roles which are getting reshaped in the age of AI. So, for example, one of the key and the hottest roles in the market is that of an AI engineer or an AI architect. I think this role also is taking multiple variations, right? Because I see roles for Gen AI architect or LLM architect, for example, right? So I think this is one of the roles that are getting traction. For me, this role is primarily taking the software engineering skills into the AI world. So that's how I see it. So it is stepping in different from what a software engineer does, but with a focus on AI. So, for example, as a software engineer, someone might be building web applications or mobile application, but an AI engineer is taking the skills and then building AI applications, for example. So definitely, yes, the way you build will be different, but at the end of the day, the principles, methodologies, and the focus is the same. So AI engineer architect is one role that I see it evolving in the industry. The other role I see that is evolving is AI product managers. I think these are people who have a very good understanding of the product development or product engineering background. They have good domain skills, and then they have developed good AI skills so that they are able to connect the dots, right? So which means if I'm building either an AI product or even a non-AI product, how AI can play a part in it, how AI can make the product better, and then give a better experience to the end users. So these are product managers with a specific focus on bringing in AI to the existing product or building an AI first product, for example. So this is another role that I see evolving. And then a couple of other roles that I see is one is on the AI governance specialist or AI governance roles. So that is gaining traction in the market, where organizations, especially the regulated organizations, are very mindful that they need to have specialists who keep looking for if you are using AI and the data the right way. So the AI governance roles is a new set of roles. And then I think some organization already had these roles for a while now. And then the last role I think that is shaping up is more on the ML ops, LLM ops, more on the infrastructure side, because AI requires different kind of infrastructure. It's usually more powerful infrastructure and data pipelines to be built. I think these are people who traditionally were like DevOps engineers or SRE folks, who transition into roles where they are able to manage the model lifecycle, manage for example, the LLM lifecycle from fine tuning into deployment and inference and so on. So I think ML ops, LLM ops, and the AI infra engineers is another role that I see shaping. So AI engineers, AI product managers, AI governance roles, AI infra roles. I think these are the roles that are evolving in the new age of AI, in my view.
Thanks for sharing. So, actually, what you've just shared about, right, is already answering my next question on all those mid-career switchers. Like, let's say they want to transit into a AI-focused kind of career, right? What would be some of the things that they can look forward to? But let me go into my last question, which is, how would you advise, right? Like, would you hire someone who do not have experience, working experience in developing AI solutions? And then what are the kind of metrics that you would hire them on? Is it based on like GitHub, education, training?
Yeah. So I think that is a good question. And then because we are seeing a lot of profiles, especially junior profiles, that are coming in. So few factors that we look at is, firstly, what is the portfolio of projects that they have worked on. So we are okay if it is personal projects. So we are still fine as long as the person has awareness of how AI works and how the tool works. So the first thing that we look at is, okay, so what kind of projects that they have worked on. So, and then we put a special emphasis on whether they understand what is the problem it is solving, or is it a set of Python files that they have created that is solving smaller problems. So we especially look for people who understand what the AI solution is solving, whether it is a pain point, whether it is a business problem, and the ability for them to articulate. So this is what we look at, because personally I believe that AI as a skill, or the AI tools, is something that definitely somebody can learn, provided their fundamentals are strong when it comes to programming, and then they have some awareness about what is the problem that they are solving. So I think these are the couple of very important things. And then yes, so having other things is always a bonus, right? So having a good GitHub profile, and then having a wide range of projects that they have worked on. I think it's not just the number of repositories, but the quality of your repository. So even if you have like one repo, but if it is an end-to-end application that you have built solving a business problem, personally, I would rate it much higher than somebody like having 20, 25 repos, doing a lot of multiple things, but without specific focus. So this is something that I look for. Second thing that we look for always is their fundamentals. So whether how good they are in problem solving. So when you have a problem, so how do you think about solving it with or without AI? If they can use the AI tools cleverly as part of the solution, it's always a plus. But problem solving skills, in my opinion, never goes away. Good problem solving skills are still needed in the age of AI. The only thing that differs is how do you build your solutions, but the skill doesn't change at all. So these are some of the things that we look for, and my suggestions to newcomers or young people who are getting into AI, this would be my recommendation as well.
One observation that I have, right, for folks who might not be in the industry but looking to transit here, the opportunities that they have to work on business, solving business projects. Right. So most of the time in the GitHub, right, it's all personal projects with a lack of business use cases. So how would you advise these people to tackle into building a very strong portfolio, in your opinion?
Yeah. So that is always a challenge, right? And people, especially when getting started with AI, one of the things that they lack is the awareness of the industry, right? So my suggestion would be to not think like too hard, in my opinion. So for example, yeah, it can be as simple as, okay, so you're building a simple Python-based solution where it looks at a set of restaurants, their review comments, and then predicting, okay, whether this restaurant will do well or not. Okay, for example, some kind of analysis on recommendation. I think this is a very simple problem, right? Because it is not related to an industry per se, but as a human, we always do that. So for example, when you want to go to a restaurant, we go to the restaurant reviews in Google and then try to see, okay, so look at the sentiment of the recommendation review, and then we make a decision which restaurant we want to go. Take this problem, build a tool around this, and then the tool can like go to different websites, gather the review, and make this analysis for you. So for me, this is a very good business problem that you can solve. Or alternatively, look at sentiment analysis on social media. So maybe you can look at take a brand, look at the social media posts that the brand is either tagged in or being mentioned. Look at the content that is, because this will also give you an opportunity to look at not only the textual content, but you can look at the images as well. So it's a multimodal analysis. So I think what I'm trying to say is, so there are projects all around us. I think it just requires these people to be a little creative in choosing the problem. So you don't have to solve a problem that a big bank is solving, but you can think of a very simple problem that is beneficial to a human like you and me, and then build a solution using AI around it. I think this can be a good starting point for people who don't have access or awareness of complex business problems.
Okay, thanks for sharing. And with that, I think we've come to the end of all the questions I have. Do you have any final things to share?
No, I think in summary, I would say we are at an exciting age. So there is a lot of information, a lot of new tools every day. I think it is very natural to be overwhelmed with a lot of information. At the same time, with a lot of uncertainty in the economy and the market as well. So I think we are living in tough times, but the AI tools, in my opinion, is providing a good way to experiment, a good way to do things faster, better, improve quality. So my only suggestion is, irrespective of which industry you are in or which role you are in, know the fundamentals of AI, know the fundamentals of generative AI, and then whatever tool you are using for your job, whether even if it is Microsoft Excel, now the Excel is integrated with Copilot, for example. So find out about how AI can help or how Copilot can help with the tool that you are using to make your job better. So that would be my advice for everybody. So there is no exception. Whichever job you are in, whichever role that you do, build your awareness of AI. Try to integrate AI to your day-to-day job, and keep learning and growing as you go. So that would be my closing thoughts.